I just had to play this video, but I wanted to update you guys. This morning, whilst I was driving coming to the office, I had a call, and the call was that Sabali was being moved to Banjul because apparently the Supreme Islamic Council were in Banjul with the IGP, and there was supposedly a meeting, and he was going to be released. We didn't want to put it out because at that point we had to wait until he was released. So this morning they took him to Banjul. His lawyer was not there, but he called the lawyer to inform him that this is what they are doing to take me to Banjul. So I wanted you to let you know. Before he was able to drive there, he had called him again to say they wanted me to meet members of the Supreme Islamic Council. Apparently, they were the ones who were negotiating to get Sabali released. And after all of the negotiations, after everything, he was, they finally released him. But I want to remind Gambians that people should understand this just didn't happen because the negotiations happened. It happened because Gambians spoke out. Gambians came out and spoke about what happened to him, how he was unjustly arrested, how his words were twisted. And everyone pointed out, every single Gambian, whether you supported the government or not, you were on record to say that was wrong. And I think that's what really happened. That was the reason why Sabali was released. That's what I believe. So as we speak, I just spoke to him like a minute ago. He's on his way to back home after the meeting at the Supreme Islamic Council with the IGP and some elders. We want to also thank the elders, the Supreme Islamic Council elders, because to be honest, this is what Alfal Kanyineke, Ninkobe Bankokang, Mia Lonko, Kulo Mia Lonko, Amanyinya. Kula Mia Lonko as a fitino wulin the Alfala Doko Minti Wale Wuli. And they took that real role, they took that leadership. They went there and spoke to the authorities and tried to get them to release the young man. And eventually it went through. So we want to thank the Supreme Islamic Council leadership for engaging the police. I don't think I'm not going to sit here and say thank you to the police. No, I'm not going to say that, because we were privileged to so many other things that really happened. And I think that is wrong. That should not even happen in the first place. So for me, I think we should recognize the leadership of the Supreme Islamic Council for initiating this conversation, because that is what leadership is supposed to be. The leadership supposed to be people who will always work on getting Katonya Sabatini Bangkokang, Kakairo Sabatini Bangkokang. I think Woku Mayatale, and I think we should thank the leadership of the Supreme Islamic Council for starting that negotiations. But we also want to, I think it's important also for Gambians to know that I've always said this, I am not interested in violent issues, things that are violent, but people speaking out, people like Mahdi Jobate, Mustafa Davos, the coach Pasamba Jaws, the Patas, the Kuru, everybody, Kurubali, everybody across, I see Keksane and others, MC Cham, everybody coming out, youth, everybody, people that agree with Sabali and who don't agree with him, everybody came out. And we all said the reason why a lot of the people were passionate about this is this. If it is Sabali today, it can be you tomorrow. And it's important for people to come out. This has nothing to do with politics. No, some of us are not politicians and we don't belong to any political party. We vote when we want to vote. But what is important is when things like this happen, people to come out and speak up and say why it is important for this not to happen. Because during the other time, we would not have been able to do this. But today, it's all of you guys who fought so hard to get to where we are today. So if we're here and we started enjoying all this freedom, I think Gambians don't want to go back to that era. And I think the message has been sent clearly to IGP Sanyang and his men that Gambians want to live in a democratic society. And that is why we are not going to be silenced, because you arrested somebody. No, we are not. And this is very good. Sabali is released unconditionally. After the meeting, he went back to the PIU to take his phones because his phones were also kept. So he had to go get those phones. I spoke to him. He's excited. You know him. He's very in a very good spirit. That's why and he's very, very, he was like, Fatou, please, I want to thank everybody through your platform because Jay had told me the overwhelming support that everybody, even sometimes journalists are not supposed to speak on some of these things because you're news broadcasters. But, he knew the number of people, all the journalists, all the activists, everybody that came out to support him and show solidarity. This is what happened. I think is the voice of the Gambian people that prevailed. If Sabali did wrong, we were going to say, Sabali, we don't care. You can rot in jail. But I think the reason why a lot of people spoke is because people believe what he said was within the limit of a political operator. And that is why today he's been released. We are glad that he is going to spend time with his family. For me, throughout this ordeal, it's not about Sabali. I said it on my show. I think Sabali's gone through so much. He'll be able to handle this. But it's the families that you leave behind, what they are going through and what they will be going through. Going into the New Year's without your loved one is very painful. So as we speak, he is with his wife. I spoke to him through Jay. He's very excited. He's excited to address you all. He's very, very grateful for the support. He's been released unconditionally. So meaning he's not been charged actually. So he has not been charged. So the release is unconditional. He's not going to address this issue. He's not going to jail court for this issue anymore. So the release is unconditionally, and that is what a lot of you were asking for, and that is what happened. So right now he's excited. He's on his way home right now with his family, and I think we're also excited about the movement that has been created by all of you on social media. So this is the update. Sabali has been released unconditionally, and he will be spending New Year's with his family. He is right now leaving the PIU office, going home with his wife, and everything seems to be going very well with him right now. He's excited. I spoke to him. He's excited. He's very, very grateful for the support and all of that. So once again, it was this morning when he was called but he was told that they were taking him to Banjul. Told to go to Banjul to meet to go to how do you call to go to your to go to Banjul to meet with the IGP. It was there when he got there. It was the Supreme Islamic Council leaders. They had a meeting and it was very fruitful. It was something the Supreme Islamic Council were doing with the authorities. And I mean, the reason why I'm saying thank you to the Supreme Islamic Council is because coming for everywhere in our society, alfalka wulle ni kuje mi an kamanya ya tama, olam kuti alfalka minke. So if ni alfale aje ko kule we kere mi an ko he nyimanya andung ata kairo wulula banko kan fenno mi an ko ata kairo wuluna banko kan isi ta wuli ya tama andu yo alfa ya leke ya ko tama le ya tama kairo kono ya tama bunya kono nin horomo for finally be IGP aning Supreme Islamic Council molu e Sabali kumandi Sabali ya itata kama nang because abela custody le from ya sama Banjul kafai ko ilaftale inata kuru ya kachake ko menketa yake ya kachalke kachala details so not I don't want to say that here. But I can tell you, he is released unconditionally. No more the good thing is, because a lot of people were worried that they were going to link him to this coup member caring, which a lot of people still have issues with. We will wait until after the investigations. But thank God he is not linked to that, and they realized it was just about that audio, which I have said, I believe so many people have said several times. All of these politicians have said that way are following a bankota. My friend Rambo Jata has said even worse than that. So people have said a lot of things that were worse than this. But at the end of the day, I think, just like what many people said, when people are vocal, and I think this is very good that a lot of people spoke up, because you remember there was this audio where people were saying there are people that they were worried about, Modou Sabally, Madi Jobate, and MC Cham. Now, Madi was arrested one time. MC was called for questioning when they wanted to do press conference, and Sabali was also arrested. So it's important that people take note of these anecdotes and just contextualize things and and look at things in a broader sense. For me, the reason I have said this several times, I don't care, what who says what and what anybody says. In any good democracy, there should be dissenting voices. There should be people who will hold government accountable in a respectful way. But we cannot all say that we are all going to be pro-government. When we do that, then that even is not good for our government. Political operators should be able to operate within the realms of the power. They should be able to hold government accountable. That is even good for government, because that way, government. Because if you're close to power, you don't tell power all the good, all the truth. You don't tell them those things. So people outside the opposition and the civil society and the activists, they are the ones who come out and tell government, no, this is wrong, no, you're not doing this, and challenge them on issues. That makes it better for us, the citizens. So that's why I've always said it's good for government to accept that there will be people who will criticize them. There will be people who will say negative things about them. That is okay. That only strengthens our democracies. That is why we need more Madi Jobates, we need more Sabalis, we need more MC Chams, we need a lot more people doing that. Because that is not like hating on the government or hating on President Barrow. That is strengthening our democracy. And everybody should understand that. I see a lot of people say, oh, Fatou Touray, she's very hypocritical. She hates this government. Oh, I don't have a reason to hate any government. I don't have the reason to hate President Barrow. No, I don't. I actually love President Barrow. But I think it's important for people to understand the role people have in society. For us, our role is to amplify people's message, being government, being opposition, being activists, and we are going to do that. You cannot expect us to just do one-sided reporting. When it is about government, we put it out. When we put government statements and press releases, you don't complain. When we put government's opposition's stories or their press conferences or their reports or their opinions, you have an issue with that. That is wrong. Our role is to give everybody the platform. And I think that is what we are doing, and we will continue to do that. But I think the message this sends is that Gambian people spoke up. They knew the Sabali arrest was not right. People came out and said this was wrong. Even those that disagree with Sabali politically, they came out and said, no, this is wrong. And the government listened. They knew people are not joking about this, and they listened. And that is the good thing. Once they are listening to us, that is good. We also have to speak with respect and with sanity, and make sure that whatever we are saying, we're basing it on facts. Those things are important. So this is why I wanted to come here and update you on this issue. I think we're all excited that Sabali is going home, and he will be addressing you guys when he's rested. I don't know when and how, but I just spoke to him and he's very excited. He's on his way home. He was just picking up his phone where it was kept, because if you're in detention, you don't have access to your phone. But yes, he's doing very well. He's doing fine. He will be spending the New Year's with his family. Jay is very excited. So I want to thank you all. Just wanted to come here and give you this update that Sabali is released and it's unconditional. No conditions attached to his release. And I think it's important for the police to understand that the police officers they are there to protect us, our lives and properties. And sometimes what we see, how they operate, it gets scary. Especially, I'm sure a lot of you all saw the protest that was organized, throwing tear gas on innocent protesters. It's not the way to do things. And I think these are things that people should learn from what happened. I said this. I was saying to somebody in my Yaya Jame voice, people should understand. Yaya Jame kept saying this, and people were laughing about it, but I'm sure we didn't understand the context. Kunung, yesterday, be an insoma. To yesterday, IGP Sanyang, you were not the IGP. You were what? Deputy IGP? Today you are the IGP. But tomorrow, surely you will not be there. Transitions. People come and go, positions stay. So your records will always stay. Your records. And I want to give this anecdote. There was this particular person, I don't want to name it. There was a report that we wrote about him when it comes to the TRRC, and this person was reaching out to us to help delete that story because he's now working in the international, and whenever they Google him, they were trying to renew his contract, and apparently this story keeps coming up, and it was linked to the TRRC, what he had done in the former regime. And he kept on begging and begging for us to delete that story. And I sat down and I was talking to a friend. I said, when you talk to them, they will tell you, I don't care. When they are maltreating people, when they are malhandling citizens, and they're doing all of these things, some of them will tell you, I don't care. But when will you care? When it's written all over the internet, the stories are on websites, these things don't go away. Tomorrow, when you want to do something, in this day and age, whatever you do, it is the internet. They search you, they Google you. The first thing they do, they Google you when they're looking for jobs, international jobs especially. Now, if all the time stuff like this, you are linked to malhandling people, you are linked to doing illegal stuff. Look, the police have the right to arrest. I'm not saying they cannot arrest. You have a right to arrest. You have a right to detain you, but you have the right to all of these things. But you are bounded by the law. Now, if you do things that are beyond your powers and it's written, it is there on your record. Today might be okay, but tomorrow, when you go work in the international level, these are the things that will come, right? And it's going to affect you. So I just wanted to put this out to some of our officials to be cautious, because this is something that happened just last week. And for that person to get his contract renewed, that is the only story that is coming up right now. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So it can be you today, it can be me, it can be another person. That's why I keep reminding myself and you and every other person, especially our law enforcement officers, people who are in government, do good by yourself. Because if you do good by people, you're doing it to yourself, because it's just going to catch up with you tomorrow. So it's important that we always be guided by law, so that these things, tomorrow, you're not even harming yourself, But I'm happy that Sabali will come out. He will address whatever happened to himself. But we wanted to just update you guys as to his release, unconditional release. Um, you know, is important, and I'm sure I'm happy, but a lot of you are more happy about what the struggle that he's been going through, and how a lot of people felt that he was unjustly treated. But I also hope the police will learn from this and understand that every Gambian has a right to speak up, and when they speak up, they don't hate government. I keep saying this, and people saying, "Are you trying to justify all the things you were saying?" No, we are not. But people should understand, when people speak, they are not against government. In fact, they're helping the government to adjust. To adjust, because sometimes I call my friends and tell them in government, I tell them all the things that I'm not happy about. And I come on my show and I say it there, because that's the platform I have, right? But when I say it in a very respectful way, I hope they learn from some of the things I say. I'm not an expert in all those things, but it's my observation, and I'm free to say it. And other people also are free to talk about their observations about how the country is running and how things are happening. So I think that is not a crime, and that's why a lot of us supported Sabali, because like I said, if he did otherwise, we would not be supporting him. But we felt that what he said was not beyond what other people have been saying. So, yes. So I want to thank you all. This is the update. Sabali has been released. He is on his way going home. So he will be he will be speaking when he's ready as to what happened, the conditions of his bail and everything. I don't want to say those things, but I want to tell you he is released and he's in a very good spirit. You know, all those people who visited him told us he has always been in a good spirit. You know, he is not broken. He's doing very well. But he will be telling you himself. He will be talking to you about his story. Thank you very much. Just wanted to come here and update you guys. Bye bye and happy New Year in advance. Today is 30th. Tomorrow is New Year's, and we want to wish you all a happy New Year in advance. I hope 2023 becomes a better year for all of us to be able to practice democracy. I mean, I've said this. Look, there has been a lot of changes. Today, I can sit here and say these things and not worry about being arrested, right? I hope that continues, and that's what we want, right? That's what all of you fight for. And today, we're enjoying that, and we want that to continue. So I hope 2022 becomes even better for Gambia, for all of you Gambians, and most importantly to our followers who have been following us all these years and supporting the network. We thank you very much, and we wish you all a happy New Year in advance. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm on a break on my shows, so I will be on a 1 month break. My season is closed unless and until I have a special interview. Unless Sabali wants to sit down with me, right? I'll be back. But if not, I'm gonna be on a 1 month break for 1 month, and the season will be back next year, end of January. Thank you very much, and bye bye to you all. Bye bye. Bye bye. Let me play some ST for you before I leave. ST's new song.